Yes, I'm Tom Wolf, originally from state of Michigan in the U.S. and came to Kenya with the third group of U.S. Peace Corps secondary school teachers in 1967. I've been here off and on. I think a lot of Kenyans know me from our survey work. I was working with Stedman, then Ipsos, Synovate, then Ipsos, now with TIFA. But I've always loved music. But we're really happy to be able to come to Nakuru today for the last event that's sponsored by the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi. And we've played some music already, and our band got a grant last year from the U.S. Embassy to play concerts, public concerts, free in 3 cities, Mombasa, Nairobi, and now Nakuru, and also a workshop for musicians, which we did with guitarists and violinists at the Ghetto Classic Center in Korogocho last Saturday. So this is our last event from this grant, and all 6 of us came up from Nairobi. I came up with the 2 fiddlers last night so we could give the background lecture on the history of the music, and especially how the banjo came with the slave trade from West Africa to the US and the Caribbean countries, and also the northern part of South America. And then the rest of the guys came up at midday, so we are now playing that concert. So that's why we're in Nakuru. We hope we can come back again and go to, in fact, more places in Kenya, whether with the support of the embassy or other more local support. We really love playing. We like exposing people of any background to our music. And also, when you know you have to play in public, it's a good motivation to keep practicing both our instruments and our singing. And our main goal is just kuinua hali ya uwezo wetu wa muziki. So it's wonderful to be here, and we hope people are enjoying the program.
As a researcher, how do you balance music and research work?
Well, that ultimately tragic 2007 election, I always come home in the evening and I like picking up my guitar or my banjo or mandolin and just playing some tunes to relax. But for the last 4 or 5 years that I've been putting this band together, we practice almost every weekend. And I have to say, it was really a sort of baraka ya kinyume when Ipsos sacked me in 2019, because that means when I went to work for TIFA with my former boss, Maggie Herreri, we don't do quite as much work as we used to do in those days. I don't have to be in the office 50 hours or 60 hours a week. And in fact, we use the TIFA meeting room for practicing on weekends. So we just fit it in. And even I wake up at night and I think, now what song do we need to do, or how can we improve singing or playing this song? I'm so excited. I don't get much sleep these days, but it's mainly because of the music, which I love.
You sang so many songs. Which was your favorite today?
Oh my goodness. That's very difficult, but because I like them all. But I would, if you put me on the spot, I think the one that we sang with 3 voices all the way through, The Life of Sorrow, that was originally recorded by the Stanley Brothers from the southwest corner of Virginia, the Clinch Mountains of Virginia, recorded it in Nashville, Tennessee in 1957 with 2 fiddles. And that's my favorite, not just because we have 3 voices all the way through, but because we have those introductory phrases with the 2 fiddles in harmony at the beginning, before each verse, and at the very end, just the way the Stanleys recorded it with 2 fiddlers in the recording studio in Nashville. And I've never heard any other band. I've been to many bluegrass festivals. I was at one when I was home in the US in June. You never hear a band doing that song. So I think it's really wonderful that we've kind of resurrected the song. And we have others that we do with other bands don't do these days. But if you put me on the spot, as I say, that Life of Sorrow. And anybody who wants to hear the original, all you have to do is go to the internet and you Google Stanley Brothers Life of Sorrow, and you'll hear that wonderful trio better than us. But we're trying.
Do you have your own composition?
I've written, I think, only 2 songs, a tune and a song. We haven't practiced them because there are too many other songs we want to do first. But what I do sometimes, I take a song that will only have 2 verses that we like a lot, and I've written like an extra verse to make the song a little bit longer. But I'm not much of a poet. I don't have much of a literary imagination. There's another song we do. We haven't done it today, but I've written another verse for that one too. We haven't performed that in public yet. So I say we're concentrating more on just getting the arrangements right, getting the instruments. In previous bluegrass bands that I've played in, I've always played the guitar. This is the first one for me to play banjo. So I've been working on my banjo playing. I love this banjo. I got it 6 years ago, although it's now 44 years old. made in 1980. But no, I don't do songwriting. I've invited the other members of the band if anybody wants to write a song. But we have so many wonderful bluegrass songs, old and new, that we want to do. I guess we haven't put too much effort into songwriting. You want to write a song for us? You're welcome.
Is there an instrument that you don't play?
Well, I would not play the fiddle, the violin in public, although because the fingering is the same as a mandolin, when I'm practicing with Stephanie and Scott, our two Kenyan fiddlers, I can take my violin. I have a very nice one that I bought in the UK when I was doing my doctoral degree there, and I can show them what to do, but I'm not really very good at bowing. So they do the execution, I show them how, but I also won a grant for them from a foundation in North Carolina, which is really the heart of the bluegrass country, and they've been getting some Zoom lessons, some really good American and a Canadian fiddler, and we hope they're going to be able to continue with that. So I'm happy playing guitar, banjo, or mandolin. I can play a little bit of the bass, but I'm happy just staying on those three instruments.
Which Kenyan music do you enjoy?
Well, you know, given my age and so on, it's really Zilizopendwa. I really like going back to those bands of the 60s, Kenya and Tanzania, and not just, you know, Mangeli Pa and Les Wanyika's and so on, but also from Tanzania, Jamhuri Jazz, Morogoro Jazz, Dar es Salaam Jazz. I bought those records when I was here and I was working in Tanzania in 1970. But also I spent a lot of time at the coast, and I love Tarab music. And also I used to listen to Balo and other, you know, Swahili Tarab singers. So that one, if I listen, I've just put on a cassette in my house here in Nairobi. I just think I'm at Jiwakale, labda mlango wa papa msikitini, kupiga mazungumzo na wazee, you know, saza jioni, or kusikiza mwadhini nini. I really love that Swahili Arab music. But the modern stuff, the fusion, jazz, rock stuff, no, mimi nimezeka bana. That stuff, I'm too old for that. Yeah, I've listened to some of that. I've gone to some Kenyan music festivals, and I like seeing. There was a traditional one-string fiddle they played in Taita called the Zeze, and what's the little one, the Nyara. When I made my first trip to Uganda in the late 60s, when Obote was still in power, I remember going to their National Museum to see the artifacts there, and then ilipofika saa fulani, right on the hour, somebody rang a bell. And then these guys who were askaris in the museum, they all picked up instruments, the askaris at the Uganda National Museum in Kampala, and they gave us a concert with traditional instruments. In fantastic flutes, different kinds of violins, drums, of course. That was just wonderful, and I've never seen anything like that at the National Museum.
Bringing Mary home. You were so emotional.
It's when a guy stops on the road in the middle of the night and there's this rain and thunder and lightning, and there's a small girl there, he puts her in the vehicle, she tells him where she needs to be taken, and when he gets to the house and then he looks for her in the car, she's not there. He opens the door. Naonikani. And then he finds out from the girl's mother that she actually died 13 years ago. I mean, lazima utasikia uchungu bana. I mean, ni ujiza, how can he find that? And then the mother says, you're the 13th one. She died when she was 13 years old. And every year, on the day she died, her ghost appears on the roadside. I mean, you must be affected by that.
Who sang this song?
That was a very good question. It was done by the Country Gentlemen of Washington, D.C., who also did that song, Prison Walls of Love, that I like so much. And I'm telling you, I was very happy to see people were really listening to that song. Because when they used to sing that song in the U.S., the audience was quiet like at a funeral bun. People, even if they knew the song, everyone had to pay close attention word by word because the song has a lot of meaning. And the woman said, thank you for your trouble and the kindness you have shown. You're the 13th one who's been here to my door bringing our late daughter Mary home. Very, very, very powerful song.
Sing that one stanza.
And thank you for asking that question, Bob. I was driving down a lonely road on a dark and stormy night when a little girl by the roadside showed up in my headlights. I stopped and she got in back, and in a shaky tone, she said, "My name is Mary, please won't you take me home?" But 13 years ago tonight, in a wreck just down the road, our darling Mary lost her life, and we miss her so. Oh, thank you for your troubles and the kindness you have shown. You're the 13th one who's been here, bringing Mary home. You're the 13th one who's been here, bringing Mary home.